There's, okay, let me see, I have not. There's chai. There's lemon drop. There's one of the babies. There's lemon drop's daughter.
They've got goats and fence and
Horses.
so that's it.
Goats.
All right, so this is the first one we've come to without John. That was actually for sale. There was that rental in the beginning. So we're coming out to this house. We did a drive-by just to kind of see what we were coming in at. And the house and the property looks pretty good. The neighborhood looks not so great, and yet the larger neighborhood is great. It's just that little pocket. It does wind in and out among the hills quite a bit, which means that it even though it's not very far outside of town, the little road that it goes down winds around a bit, so it would slow John down on the way to work, but it's not that far out. Showcase. The thing I like the most is no space was wasted. They have, even the front yard has fence that would keep goats in or chickens. And then the fences that they do have the horses in are good. These board fences, they've used the board fences. And then for the goats, they've used more of the woven wire. But they are keeping, I don't know what kind of goats those are. Those almost look like pygmies. What I do see is that it doesn't look like 2.5 acres to me. So that means that about maybe 3/4 of an acre is flat. And then we've got 2 acres down the hill that cannot be planted into. The horses are in quite a bit of mud. The goats are not. The goats look like they have quite a bit of bedding to keep them dry. But horses do that. Horses kind of muck things up. And they don't mind having their feet wet the same way that goats mind. But it's not good for their feet. I always look at the health of the animals when I go anywhere. And the horses actually look pretty good. They have one that looks like he's old, but the others look nice and fat. They don't have too many big trees next to the house, so in really stormy weather I wouldn't have to worry as much about things falling on the house, trees breaking fences, that kind of thing. It looks like most of the shrubby trees are on the neighbor's property instead of on this property. As far as homestead fencing, they've done a really, really good job. They've done a good job with the horses. It looks like they have cleared out quite a bit of understory and also dead waste trees back here. We've seen that a lot in like hilly spots where just most of the trees had to be taken out because they grow well, but then they kind of stunt each other by all trying to grow at the same time. And so you don't get a lot of really big, beautiful trees without having a lot of understory of not so great trees. So it looks like most of the property is a hill, like a straight down hill. And my concern is that if the horses don't even go down the hill and it's been eaten that bare, maybe there's nothing growing on the hill that could sustain the horses later.
Oh, it's so cute. I love this kitchen.
Yeah, isn't it cute? They've done a good job out there. But yeah, it's super, super cute.
I think I heard a dog.
It would be. Alright. They said that they had a deck. Alright, deck. Hi, ponies.
It must be really deep because look at that person.
So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horses. So five horses is quite a few horses for just 2 acres. With only 2 horses, that that grass would go a lot further.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, a
horses
lot of
on
horses
2
on
acres?
2 acres.
Yeah, that is. You guys need more space, don't you?
All right, so I'm gonna go look because I see that there are many rocks. It's quite rocky. And it stops being flat-ish about here. Lots of rocks working their way up. The horses have eaten it down pretty well. It's quite soggy. But 5 horses is a lot to have on 2 acres without always having hay. So it does look like the horses have come down. I was a little worried trying to figure out why aren't the horses down here? Because they're just about up to their knees in mud up there. They've got a big pile of like a slag pile type of a thing. Not slag, just lots of rocks down here. So I don't know if it would hurt their feet to be down here or not, because it is quite rocky. There's the pond. It looks like they've got some erosion going on, and that's probably why they've got all the rocks. Lots and lots of rocks. But it is fenced all the way down. I guess if you weren't worried about your horse's feet, then you could take that part up there that they had cleared and use that to plant trees. But my understanding is that if you have rock like this, what might happen is you might have like a perched system to where you have bedrock underneath that's pretty solid, a little bit of soil, but then like rock. And it's hard for those trees to get their roots in good enough that they're not falling over in a storm or just not able to even get started very well. So there's the bottom of the property. There's quite a bit of property. And they've left enough trees that there's shelter for the animals. The fences are not good enough to hold in goats. And I don't know how much longer they'll be good enough to hold in horses. So I'm not sure how usable it is for what I want to use it for. The other thing is there is a smell in the house that is pretty strong. It smells like a litter box, and yet there's no cats. There's like no evidence of cats in the house. So I wonder, I went past an air vent as I came out in the pasture, a vent that goes underneath the house, and I actually wonder if there's cats under the house or something that has died under the house and that they can't get it out, and that's where the smell's coming from, because the house itself was very clean and I couldn't find a source of smell. It's obvious they're trying to take care of their animals, trying to give them a spot where they can stand out of the mud. Okay. Are you the friendly one who thinks everybody has treats, huh?
Well, actually,
Do you think we have treats? I think that little entrance is super cute.
Hey, don't give it to them.
Super cute. Alright.
That house actually looks good, but that actual yard is dumb.
And maybe there would be awesome neighbors out here.
Yeah. Even though the neighborhood isn't so great.
You know, I mean, maybe they would just be awesome neighbors. Just because there is garbage out here doesn't mean they're not using it for something.
Yeah.
But it does mean that as far as resale value, you know, if you do get into something like this, your neighborhood is then going to influence whether or not you can sell it again at the price you want to sell it for.
Road.
I would just want to keep my eyes really wide open about this, because